20 years after breast cancer, 3 things that I'm doing now to lower my cancer risk. In October, I'm going to be celebrating my 20-year anniversary of surviving breast cancer. Yep, 20 years. And honestly, when I say that out loud, it's really hard for me to believe. 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. My cancer was of the type called estrogen receptor positive cancer. And at the time, I had a lumpectomy and radiation. And if you've ever had cancer, you know that getting through the treatment is only part of the story. After it's over, you go back to living your life, but I don't think cancer ever completely leaves your mind. At least it hasn't for me. And at what point do you really think you're considered a survivor? I don't know. You go to your checkups, you pay attention to your body, and you get these new aches and pains for just a second or two, and you think, oh, what was that? And after a while, I think most cancer survivors start asking themselves the same simple questions. Is there anything I can do to lower my chance of getting cancer again? At least that's what I was wondering. Now, I want to be clear. I don't think there is any diet, any supplement, or anything else that can guarantee that I will never get cancer again. I really wish that there was, but cancer is really complicated and there are things we can control and there are a lot of things that we just can't control. But I also don't believe that means we should just throw up our hands and say, well, there's nothing that I can do, because there are things that we can do. And over the years, I've become much more interested in doing the things that are actually within my control. So today, I want to share 3 things with you that I am personally focusing on as part of my 69-year-old breast cancer survivor 20 years after my diagnosis. Number 1 is how eating healthy. Yeah, eating healthy. Let's talk about what that means to me. Number 2 is how I think about supplements. There are a few that I believe help now, and I take them. I feel. And number 3, I have lost 45 pounds. Yep, that's my biggest success. And it's affected my life more than just surviving cancer. It's a big deal. And I hope that you will stay to the end, because honestly, number 3 has probably been the biggest physical change that I've ever made in my life in recent years. When I started really looking into the research about body weight and cancer, I really realized that this was about much more than just fitting into smaller clothes. Yeah, it was. The connection between excessive body weight and cancer is something that I think more of us need to think and understand. Yeah, we need to understand that part. So stay with me till the end, because I'm going to tell you why I decided losing weight was so important to me after breast cancer and what the research says about body weight and cancer risk. Okay, you ready? Let's start with number 1, how I'm eating now. Let's start with food. And I have to tell you, I'm one of those people who believe you have to eat perfect. You don't have to eat perfectly to be healthy. I don't eat perfectly. I do like food. I enjoy food, but I'm not interested in spending the rest of my life eating food that I don't like just to be skinny. Nope. But I've changed the way that I think about what I eat. I can say I no longer live to eat. Now I simply just eat to live, meaning I no longer let food control me. Food for me was addictive. It was power. It was not something that I could overcome. I used to think more about food in terms of calories too. Now I think about, what is food actually doing to me? Does it have protein? Does it have fiber? Is it giving my body the nutrients that I need? Or is it just filling me up without giving me much of anything? As I've gotten a little older, and especially after having cancer, I've become much more interested in eating real food now. I eat plenty of vegetables. I love vegetables. I really focus on getting enough protein every day. That's high on my list. I actually use an app to count my protein. In fact, this food tracker, it helps me stay accountable. I pay attention to fiber. I try to limit highly processed foods, and I stay away from foods with additives that are known to cause cancer, like food dyes and various other preservatives. Look for single ingredient foods. Those are your real foods. And I don't make sugar, the junk food, the foundation of my diet. Nope. Oh no. I still have a sweet tooth, but not like before. Now, am I perfect? Absolutely not. And I don't think anybody watching this needs to be perfect either. I think sometimes that we make healthy eating so darn complicated that people, they just give up before they even start. For me, it comes down to making the healthier choice most of the time, not all the time. If I'm eating a meal, I ask myself, okay, where's the protein in this meal? I ask myself, could I add some vegetables to this? I think about whether I'm eating a real food or am I eating something that came out of a package with like 25 ingredients that I can't even pronounce. That's basically it. That's my diet. Simple. And those little decisions, they do add up. Protein has become more important to me than any other element in my food. One thing that I've really started paying attention to as I've gotten older, it's protein. And I wish I had paid more attention to this earlier in my weight loss journey, because when you lose a lot of weight, you know, you don't necessarily always lose a lot of fat. You can lose muscle too. And I think I have. And at my age, I don't want to lose any more muscle. I want to keep it. I want to keep strong. I want to be strong. I want to be able to get up off the floor if I fall down. I want to be able to carry heavy things like bags of feed for my dog food and my chicken food. And I want to work in my garden, and I want to get down on my knees where I can still get up. I do still want to travel. I want to be independent. So today, I'm not just thinking about being thinner, I'm thinking about being healthier and stronger. And that means eating enough protein and working on maintaining that muscle that becomes really, really important to me. Number two, how I think about supplements. This is a big one for me, and it doesn't apply to everybody. The second thing that I pay attention to is supplements. And this is an area where I think we all have to be careful, because there's a lot of promise out there. Everywhere you look, there's a miracle cure for this, a miracle powder for that. Somebody is selling something that is supposed to give you more energy, make you younger, detox your body, prevent disease, or practically make you live forever. I got to find that one. And I don't buy into miracle cures. No. I take supplements that I am interested in, supplements, because I think they're beneficial. I don't get everything out of my food, but I try to ask very simple questions before I take something. Why am I taking this? And what does the research actually show about the particular supplement that I'm taking? Do I have a reason to take it? And is there something in my diet that I'm not getting enough of, and that's the reason I'm taking this supplement? Could it interact with one of my medicines? And is it safe for someone in my medical history to be taking? The last question is especially important to me because I had ER positive breast cancer. I think we sometimes hear the word natural and assume that that means harmless or natural flavors and natural ingredients. It doesn't. Plants contain chemicals that have biological effects. Supplements can affect hormones, and they can interact with your medicines, and they can affect how your bodies function. So I think cancer survivors need to be particularly thoughtful about that. For me, supplements, they're part of my overall health plan, but they are not the foundation of it. I just can't take a handful of supplements in the morning and then eat poorly, even exercise, and expect those supplements to somehow protect me. That's not how it looks. That's not how I look at it. For me, food comes first. Maintaining a healthy weight is so important. Maintaining muscle is important. Being active, walking, just doing something simple every day, getting appropriate medical care, getting your mammograms, going in to see your primary doctor once in a while. Those things are important. And then supplements, they have a place on the top of that foundation also. Here it is. Let's talk about my favorite, number 3. The biggest change that I've made is losing 45 pounds. This is a big one. This is the one I wanted to save till the very end because I'm really proud of the fact that I lost 45 pounds. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I first decided I wanted to lose weight, cancer was not the only thing that I was thinking about. I was so heavy back in the day that I couldn't do things. I didn't look good in pictures. I felt unhealthy and I wanted to feel better. I wanted to move more. I wanted to be able to walk and hike and do the things I used to do. I wanted to be healthier. And yes, I wanted to feel better about the way that I looked. But as I started learning more about weight and health, I realized that carrying excessive body weight is not just a cosmetic issue. It can affect your health in some very significant ways. And the statistics really got my attention. According to a major cancer organization, excessive body weight, it's associated with at least 13 different types of cancer. Yeah, that's a lot, 13 types of cancer. And that includes breast cancer after menopause, along with the cancer of the colon, rectum, kidney, pancreas, liver, and multiple other cancers, 13 of them. Cancer, it runs in my family. My own mom, she died of colon cancer just a couple years ago. So that's always on my mind. And here's another statistic that really made me stop and think. Research estimates that approximately 11% of cancers in women in the United States, they are linked to excessive body weight. 11%. That's a high number. That's not small. Now, that doesn't mean that every person who is overweight is going to get cancer. And being thin certainly does not guarantee that someone won't get cancer. Cancer doesn't work that way. But it does mean that excessive body weight is one of those factors that can influence cancer risk. And unlike some risk factors, it's something that we may be able to do something about. So, why is this especially personal for me? For me, this became even more personal because my breast cancer was estrogen receptor positive, which means fat tissue becomes an important source of estrogen in your body. So, having more body fat after menopause can mean higher estrogen levels in your body. That means higher cancer risk. And higher estrogen levels, they play a role in breast cancer risk. Excessive body weight after menopause, it's associated with an increased risk of breast cancer. And the association is particularly important for hormone receptor positive breast cancer, which is the kind that I have. And when I learned that, it made me think, I really can never change my history. I had breast cancer, but I can look at the things that I can potentially change. And for me, losing excessive weight became one of those things. It wasn't about becoming really thin or anything like that. And I really want to say this because I think it's important that my goal wasn't to become skinny. I'm 69 years old. I am not trying to look like I did when I was 25, although I didn't look so good at 25 because I was overweight then. That ship, it sailed. And honestly, that's okay. My goal, it was to be healthier. to carry less excessive body fat, to move more easily. I wanted to feel better, to know if I fell down someday, I would not be so heavy that I couldn't get up, and hopefully to improve some of the health risks that I can actually do something about. I not only lost 45 pounds, but doing so put my BMI in the normal range now, which was my goal for reducing my cancer risk. And I told my doctor that up front. I want to get into the normal range. But now I've moved on. Simply watching that number on the scale, it's not everything, because I learned something even more important. Just losing weight isn't necessarily enough. What matters is what you're losing. If you're losing a lot of muscle along with the fat, that may not be what you want, especially as you get older. So I'm now more interested in body composition. I want to maintain a healthy weight, but I also have got to work on the muscle more. It's a problem for me. I need to do my planks and my walks. I want to eat enough protein. I try every day to use my food calculator. I want to do resistance training. That means lifting some light to moderate weights. I want to be strong because my goal isn't just to live longer. I want to live well. What am I trying to do now? So, today, at 69 years old and almost 20 years after my breast cancer diagnosis, these are the three big changes that I am focusing on. And I'm trying to eat healthier, not perfectly, but better. And I'm thoughtful about supplements, and I try to pay attention to the actual science instead of miracle claims. I'll talk more about this in a future video. I'm going to do one on supplements. And I've lost 45 pounds, and I'm now focused on maintaining healthy body weight while protecting and building muscle. And I'm going to do another body composition one and how I lost my weight. I'm going to do a video on that. Do you know certain that these things will prevent cancer from ever coming back? I wish I could say yes, but no. I don't know that that's going to help, but that's what the research says. And I don't think anybody should make you that promise that these things are going to work. But here's how I look at it. I'm 20 years out now. I survived breast cancer. I've been given these extra years, and believe me, I never thought I would be here today at the time. And I want to do everything reasonable that's within my control to take care of myself. I can't control everything. None of us can, but I can control a lot of what I do today. I can control what I eat most of the time. I can work on my weight. I can work on being stronger. I can be physically active. I can also make sure that I'm getting appropriate medical care and screening, and I do every year. I am so lucky and blessed to have a wonderful doctor that works with me. I can learn and I can keep making changes. And to me, that's what being a cancer survivor means to me. It doesn't mean living in fear every day. Believe me, for the first 5 years, I did that. It means living my life, but also appreciating that my health is worth taking care of. In closing, I want to just say this October, I will have been a breast cancer survivor for 20 years. That's 20 years. That's a long time. And I am so grateful to still be here. If you are a cancer survivor too, I would really love to know your story and how many years that you've been cancer free. Leave me a comment and tell me, is it 5 years, 10 years, or are you just surviving your first year post breast cancer or any type of cancer? Some people that I know are out 30 years of breast cancer. Let's celebrate those years together. And if you're someone who is trying to get healthier, whether you've had cancer or not, remember this. You do not have to change everything overnight. Start with one thing, eat one healthy meal, take one walk, add some protein to your diet, and start lifting a little lightweight, those 5 pounds if you need to, because sometimes Those small changes are the beginning of something much bigger. I'm 69 years old. I'm almost 20 years out from my breast cancer, and I'm still learning how to take better care of myself. And I really believe I'm in better shape now than I was earlier. And I think that the important part is never too late to start. And I hope that if you like this video, that you're going to subscribe to my channel because I've got more content like this. I'm a new channel and I love sharing my stories with you and what I know. Remember, we're always getting older. Nothing we can do about that, but we feel bolder and enabled each day. And this really is our time to shine. Thanks again, and I'll see you in my next video. I'm going to turn this into some kind of a series, most likely to include my weight loss journey and my supplements that I use, just in case any of you were wondering. Thanks again.